Have you ever wondered about some of the history behind our community's favorite locations? Hello, I'm Brendan Yarmy, and today I'll be showcasing the incredible history of Winnipeg's Assiniboine Park Zoo. Today we will be discussing why the zoo is an important part of Winnipeg's history and all of the amazing history surrounding it, including timelines, unique century-old photos, and plenty of information from the past. We will also be discussing bears, the startup of the zoo, and focusing on Winnipeg's community. Now I'll be discussing a quick timeline of the zoo. So in 1904, the zoo was first opened and the purchase of several species of native animals occurred. In 1907, major roadways and pathways are constructed. From 1908 to 1932, construction and expansion of important buildings occurred. Then, skipping down in 1938, the Lion Pavilion was constructed and more permanent structures replaced the temporary ones built at the zoo's opening. In 1956, formation of the zoo's Zoological Society of Manitoba occurred, and in 1958, the first zoo director is hired. In 1959, the zoo was given the official name as Assiniboine Park Zoo. Also occurring in 1959 was the opening of Aunt Sally's Farm. From 1964 to 1966, major upgrades to the roads, infrastructure, landscaping, exhibits, and other things throughout the park and zoo occurred. In 1969, construction begins on a new conservatory, and in 1971, construction begins on the zoo's new tropical house. In 1989, a panda bear exhibit was temporarily opened that drew in huge crowds. A special building was built for them that would later house other animals. In 1992, Phase 1 of the Leo Sculpture Gardens opened. In 1993, the zoo begins charging admission due to financial constraints. It was one of the last zoos in North America that was free to visit. In 1995, Phase 2 of the Leo Sculpture Gardens opens, and in 2003, Phase 3 of the Leo Sculpture Gardens opens. In 2008, Assiniboine Park Conservancy is established, and in 2011, both the Nature Playground and Toucan Range opens. In 2012, the Pooh Gallery is opened in the Pavilion, and in 2013, Tundra Grill, Polar Playground, and Arctic Treasures Gift Shop is opened. In 2014, Journey to Churchill exhibit opens on July 3rd. In 2016, the Lion Pavilion is closed in preparations for a Gibbon exhibit. In 2018, the Wolf's Wood exhibit opens on Father's Day. Also in 2018, the conservatory closes for demolition in preparation for Canada's Diversity Garden. In 2020, Canada's Diversity Garden opens, and in 2021, Aunt Sally's Farm reopens to a new location in the zoo, and the Leaf's Diversity Garden opens. 2022 to 23, the Leaf is officially to open. Now let's go all the way back in the zoo's history to the start to take a more in-depth look at what took place. In 1904, a small zoo opened containing a few species including deer, bison, and elk. Pathways and buildings were constructed in the upcoming years, and by 1909, the zoo already had 116 animals of 19 species. Local folk loved the zoo and its expansion continued rapidly, even with a low budget in the beginning. Only $8,000 by 1916. By 1998, the zoo had amassed a whopping 1,193 animals of 271 species. In 1908, the first bear exhibit called the Bear Pit was constructed, and in 1957, a brand new bear exhibit opens. It was the first of its kind in Canada and the largest in North America at the time. Bears have always been a big part of the Assiniboine Park Zoo. From the original bear pits to the large polar bear exhibits we see today, the bears have always been at the heart of the zoo. Some bears even lasted over 40 years, and generations of families were all able to witness these beloved creatures. The zoo received its first polar bear in 1939. Winnie the Pooh even held origins from Winnipeg, hence Winnie. The zoo is just as big a deal now as it was back in the day and brings a sense of community to Winnipeg. The zoo hosts large-scale fundraisers, one notable occurrence being a fundraiser to help the Australian bushfires, and brings in tourists from everywhere to view over 180 of the current unique species through 80 acres of land. The Assiniboine Park Zoo now stands proudly as the oldest remaining zoo in Canada and has the rare title of being a zoo park hybrid. All who are interested can explore the beautiful surrounding terrain, including such exciting landmarks as the Sculpture Garden, Canada's Diversity Garden, and Assiniboine Park itself. You can also find several smaller pieces of art, nature, and history as you explore several of the pleasant paths around the park. The zoo initially reflected widespread beliefs that the roles of humans was to observe, catalog, and dominate the natural world, and it housed animals like bears and pits that visitors could peer down upon. In 1950, the Parks Board established a zoo advisory committee that, in consultation with zoological experts, planned for the reinvention of the zoo as an educational space and living museum. The zoo increasingly housed animals in spaces replicating natural habitats, designed with their well-being in mind. Exhibits like the Tropical House, opened in 1972, offered visitors the immersive experience of entering climate-controlled environments shared by the animals. The zoo now represents the changing relationship between humans and animals, demonstrating how Western societies organized, experienced, and understood the natural world. Connecting city dwellers with nature, the park's expansive green spaces, gardens, and zoo demonstrate an evolving recognition of the importance of conservation. To sum everything up, the zoo remains an essential part of Winnipeg through its history, community, representation of animals, and beauty. With all of these reasons in mind, I believe that I can safely say that the zoo will remain a large part of Winnipeg's history and community. Here are a few more of those old photos I love so much from the interview I collected. I hope you enjoy them. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.